Sally's going to press. This webinar is going to talk about how data can drive donations, and we've got some kind of key learnings from this, but the basis of this is going to be a tour of the available reporting and how to extract the data from those reports. And we'll touch on kind of mini stewardship opportunities from the data that you can kind of explore and have a think about. And we also want to stress that access to your partner area is not just for in-memory fundraisers, so your colleagues in events can have access, and we'll talk about that a bit later on, about what they can access. And if you want anyone else within your charity to have access, then just ask your account manager and they can provide a login for them. And at the end, we'll signpost you to self-guided learning resources. So Jane, so I'm joined by Jane and Sally. So Sally's going to keep an eye on the questions that we'll probably come back to at the end. But Jane's going to start with looking at the scheme overview.
Okay, so just to double check that you can see my screen okay. Well, as you can all see, I am now in the partner area of an Optimum partner. This is our presentation charity that we use so that we can show everyone how things work. So to access the reports, along the top bar here, you can see the word saying reports. So we'll click on there, and the first one we're going to look at is the scheme overview. So basically it's a snapshot of everything that's going on with your tribute funds at the moment. The first pod shows you the tributes created to date this year, where it was from the same point of time last year, how many since the start of the scheme, and there's a handy link to click through to the tribute report. The donations pod again shows the donations to date compared to last year, how much has been donated since you started running the scheme, and again there's a link through to the report. In the pod below, it gives you a nice overview of what's going on with your tribute fund scheme, how many tributes have been set up to fundraise for your organisation, how many have been created through links from your pages, that could be your widgets, your links or your landing page, and how many have been created by Much Loved, and that will include tributes that have been created by one of our many funeral director partners. You can also see the donations that have been made to your organisation. Online donations will show here. This is slightly skewy because it's a demonstration site, and offline donations here, and those will include donations that have come through as checks or cash, or Just Giving events that have been linked to the pages, and also regular givers. So if people want to set up a regular gift to go through the tribute, you can do so through your partner area, and the amount of the regular gift will be added to the total of the tribute as it comes in. You can also see how many events are fundraising for your organisation. The most active tributes pod is a really useful resource. It will show the most active tributes, that not only in terms of fundraising, but perhaps in terms of interaction, i.e. the most active ones with the most photos that have been added, or stories, or candles lit. So it's a really useful tool for you. And the final pod has got a graph showing a comparison month on month, year by year, of how much has been raised. And if you hover over the top here, you can see the exact figure of how much has been raised. So now I'm going to pass you back over to Jason, and he's going to talk about our tribute report.
Thanks, Jane. So the tribute report, I think, is the most exciting report because of the data that it holds. So the tribute report is a report of all of the tribute owners, and we know that people who have a tribute page can quite often become legacy donors. So this data is, I think, really important, and in order to access it, so I'm just going to go to reports and then tribute report. So the second one down I'm going to start by showing you the date range. So what we can do here is, if we want to, we can type in the the date manually, or you can use the calendar option. But I tend to just use this area here, but you'll work out whatever works best for you. So I'm going to click on all. And then we've got the tribute status. So it automatically excludes deactivated or deleted tributes. So we assume that the tribute owners are no longer interested in the page, which is why that's set to that. But you can, if you want to, untick that, and then it will show them. Tribute pages are automatically set to be public so that people can contribute to them. But you can, if you want to, display private tributes. So some people will set the page to be private. It's automatically set to display both. And then the donation types. So you've obviously got online donations, donations that go through Much Loved, and you've also got offline donations. So it might be that you've received a check, or a funeral director has forwarded you donations, say a retiring collection from a church service. And then we've got these columns here. So the source column. So we've got different sources, and when you hold your mouse over the little button, you can see where it was created. So you might, in your partner area, you might see a green globe. So the green globe is a tribute that's been created via your landing page or via your unique URLs. So both our Advantage and Optimum partners have access to unique URLs, and you can include them in digital newsletters. So we know that the green globe is a page that's been created via your URL. You may also see an orange globe. So if you're a Optimum partner, you can create tributes on behalf of your supporters in your partner area, and they will display here with an orange globe. And then the next globe is the, have I got that wrong? I think I've got that wrong. The orange globe is via your Tribute Create widget on your website, and the black globe is via your funeral collection widget from your website if you are an Optimum partner. So this is the globe that I got mixed up. So this was created in your partner area. So white dove in a gold circle, that was created in your partner area via if you're an Optimum partner. And then the purple ribbon means that someone's gone to muchloved.com and created it there. And then the white dove and the black circle means that it was created by a funeral director. And you can hold over and actually see the name of the funeral director. And then this column here shows the tribute name. And if you click on this, it opens up the tribute. And then you've got the create date, and you can click on these, and they toggle so that I like to display the most recent one. And then this section here shows the tribute owner or tribute guardian. They're both the same thing. So it shows their first name, their family name, and their email address. So it might be, you can email people from here. So if you click on this, it will open up your email software. You've also got this column here, the funeral contact. So potentially there are 2 bits of contact details here. So you might have a funeral contact, and that in that situation, it might be the funeral director's client who might not want to be the tribute owner. It could be that they're not very IT savvy, and it could be that they've given ownership of the tribute to a more IT savvy relative. So bear in mind that you could have 2 people's contact information. And then you've got the fund status here. So the orange one, you won't really see many of these. This means that the page was supporting you, but it no longer is. And then the tribute status, so they're automatically set to be perpetual. So in theory, the pages never end. So you'll get the P in a green block here. And then you've got the donation amount here. So these are the different columns. So the export options, it might be that the export options are not visible. So you can either click on export options here or on the green plus sign. And I tend to include all and then work out what it is that I don't want after I've downloaded the initial report. And to download the report, you just click on the green CSV button. But there are some very obvious things here, I think, in terms of stewardship. So you've got things like the date of birth, the date of death. So it could be on the anniversary of the death that you send the tribute owner a message saying, this time last year you were thinking of us and now we're thinking of you. So you've got some opportunities there for stewardship. GDPR, so anyone who creates a tribute through your platform. So your platform includes your unique URLs or your widgets if you are an Optimum partner. They will be presented with a GDPR question. Pages created by a funeral director of the tribute owner isn't presented with a GDPR question. You've also got custom references available here. So we can see that these 4 options are for custom references. And I'll show you how to change. You can change these titles. So I'll show you firstly how to change them. So you go to manage and then you go to custom references. And you can see here that I've popped in my name for the benefit of this demo. So you can change them to whatever you want them to be. And then when I go back to the tribute report, you can see that Jason now has an M on the end of it here. So you can include that data. So that enables you in the actual back end of the tribute. So go to your tributes, go to tributes fundraising for you, and top tip, show all tributes, and then go to the settings and scroll down, and you can see here that you can add whatever you want to add, and then just press save, and then this will export in your tribute report. So that's kind of a whistle-stop tour of the tribute report. With regards to these options here, if you don't clear your cookies, it will automatically remember them. So you can, if you want to, rely on your cookies to remember which of the options you've selected. So, and so there's an opportunity here with regards to stewardship. So what are you going to do? So have a think about if you're going to write to these people, if you're going to send them a handwritten thank you card with a, I don't know, a tangible gift, a pack of seeds, a memory pin, that kind of thing. You're going to phone people. You'll have access to everyone's email addresses. So I'm just going to hand over now to Jane, who is going to talk about the donations summary report.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Excellent. So the donation summary report. This is going to tell you all about all the donations that are processed through your Tribute Fund scheme. As with all our reports, you've got the handy date ranges up the top, so you can use the calendar, you can manually type it in, or you can click on any of these tabs here. Now you can see here, as this is our demonstration account, there's not a lot of donations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide tributes without any donations in this period, which makes it easier to view it for you. As my computer thinks about what it wants to do. There we go. So you can see here now the ones that the tributes that have been fundraising for your organization. So as with all the reports, if you hover your mouse over the wording at the top, it will explain exactly what you can find in the columns below. You can click through to the tribute report of the actual tribute, and you can also click through to the donor details of this actual tribute. You can also see the fund status, whether or not it's fundraising for you. The green globe means it's fundraising for you, and the orange one means it was, but is no longer. You can see the donations, the fees, the gift aid, and it will show both online donations, which is donations that have been made through the page itself, and offline donations, which again will include cash, checks. For an Optimum partner, the regular giving, these amounts can be added through the back end, and any Just Giving events will show on this as well. What I'll show you here, you can click on your donor details. So if you click on here, and it shows you the donor details, you can click on here for the summary, and it gives you a summary of all those details as well. So that's quite useful. But we'll just go back to our donation summary report. And if we make sure we're seeing all tributes rather than just a couple, there we go, and we'll hide those. And again, you've got your export options down the bottom. Just make sure you've ticked on anything that may be applicable for you, and then you can download that into an Excel spreadsheet. So the next report is the donor detail report. And this is all about the people that are making the donations to your charity. So again, you've got your date ranges. You can choose between online and offline. And I have clicked on offline because we've got a lot more offline donations because this is a presentation. The first obvious thing you can see here is the big purple G. So this means that a Just Giving event has been linked to this particular tribute. And as you can see here, the Just Giving amount will come through and show as an offline donation so that there's no worries about double accounting or anything like that. So you're able to access your donors' information here. Now, all the information might not show in this top column. So just remember that anything you might want to download, if you've ticked on the particular box down here below, then it will all be downloaded onto a spreadsheet. Just remember here, you can also download your GDPR responses and also special instructions. For example, sometimes if people make a donation to a hospital, but they want the donation to go to a specific ward, for example, they can add that information and you can download it onto your report to make sure that the action is followed through for them. So that is the two reports there. And now it's back to Jason for our event report.
Thanks, Jane. So I wanted to start by showing Tony's tribute page and the events that have been added. So there's an amazing amount of money that's been raised here. And you can see there's an upcoming event. At the very beginning, we spoke about involving colleagues in events and giving them a login. So in theory, if you're an Optimum partner, you can upload all of your upcoming events so that when people go and add an event, they can choose one of your options or they can create their own. So these events don't have to be fundraising. So we're really proud of the fact that people can go along and they can add memorial services, scattering of ashes, or I don't know, if they're having an anniversary dinner, then there's an option for those events to be added. Obviously, there isn't a donate functionality attached to those. We know that the people adding events are potentially new supporters. So there's a new supporter opportunity here because it could be a friend, a colleague, or a relative. It's not necessarily the tribute owner who is adding the event. And I'm sure you're aware that millennials are going crazy for group fundraising. So do jump on the bandwagon and kind of get your events colleagues aware that you can upload events onto your platform if you're an Optimum partner. So we can see here that this event has been is through Much Loved. So when I click on it, it's opening up into the Much Loved donate functionality. And if I scroll down here, there's a Germany cycle challenge, and this is linking to Just Giving. So what we're doing is that we're pulling the data from the Just Giving page onto Tony's page. So we're not handling the donations, but we're pulling the total amount from the Just Giving page onto Tony's page so that it's reflected on the home page here. So that happens every couple of hours. So it's not instant, but it's every couple of hours. So if I show you now the events section within your reporting, so you just go to event report, and again we've got the date range. So I'm going to click on all. You can choose to hide events without a donation. So I mentioned that people might have an anniversary dinner, so you can choose to exclude those, and you can also hide closed events if you want to. So it's quite self-explanatory. You've got the create date, fundraising event, and if you click on that, it opens up the event on the tribute page, and you can see who it's been created by, and you can see whether they have provided what their GDPR, whether their GDPR response has been completed. So we're presenting a GDPR question to eventers as well. And then if we scroll across, we can see the tribute owner. So when you click on that, it opens up to the specific report for the tribute owner, which is handy. And then you've also got the donation. So we can see our made up charities and doing particularly well, but you can toggle with all of these to kind of bring the amount to the top if you wanted to. And then you've got the export options down the bottom here. So again, include all, and you've got some more custom references. So Optimum Partners, you can use this for your custom referencing. So these are the custom references, and I'll show you how to add those. So if you wanted to change the title of them, you could do that again in the custom references here, and you can edit them so that you change the title. But what you need to do in order to add data is you would go to events, and then you go to tribute events, and you click on details, and you could then add whatever you wanted to add here, and then press save. So that data will then be exported in your events report when you click on the green CSV button. So that's your events report. So I'm now going to hand over to Jane, who's going to talk about the tribute activity report.
Okay, now this is the last report, but I would say it's definitely not the least. So the tribute activity report reminds us that it's not all, I mean, whilst fundraising is incredibly important, stewardship is also just as important. And this gives you a great view of what is going on with your tributes with regards to interactions. So as per usual, the top of each column will show you exactly what it's all about, but this shows you how people are interacting with your tributes. So you could see at a glance, for example, if a tribute has got a lot of candles on it, or a lot of photos being added, and you could perhaps get in touch with them and offer stewardship. You'll be able to see immediately if an event has been added to a tribute. And again, you can go to that tribute and get in touch with whomever has added the event and offer them support for their fundraising event. With regard to the candles, a lot of our charity partners light a candle as soon as a tribute is set up. And just a reminder for Optimum Partners, they can also pre-light candles. So for example, they might want to also at the same time pre-light a candle for a year's anniversary. We offer gifts at different points of the year, Mother's Day, Christmas, Easter, and with Father's Day coming up, we've got gifts available from the end of the month until the middle of June. So if you wanted to send out a mailer to your supporters, inviting them to add a Father's Day gift to their tribute pages, you'll be able to see immediately on this report if anyone has taken you up on that offer. So it's a really handy report. Don't forget about it. It's always good to see how people are making use of the pages. And has anybody got any questions at all? I know Sally's been keeping an eye on them.
There's been a couple, but I've answered them
okay.
for you.
Okay.
Thank you, Sally. I was going to show people how to access the support site. So in your partner area, and this is the same for Advantage and Optimum Partners, if you go to manage and then click on training and support, it will open up our support site, and the search functionality is really good. So if you just type in GDPR, for example, it will pull up all of the resources that we have on GDPR. And I was also going to plug our new e-learning platform that our clever colleague Kate has developed. So I'm also going to pop into the chat the URL for this, so that you can encourage any colleagues and encourage yourself to have a go at completing this. You need to create a separate login, so it's not your Much Loved login, it will be a new login. And I was also going to talk about, show you our next module, and I'm going to pop in to the chat the URL for that as well, so that you can, whilst we're here, register for the next webinar, which is on the subject of going the extra mile, and that's in June on the 29th. And I also, I'm going to stop in a minute, I promise, is show you our Much Loved partner group. So any in memory people wanting to be a member of the group, do let us know and we can add you. And there's lots of really wholesome conversation going on there, which is which is very interesting. So yeah, I think that's all from me. And are there any more questions before?
Yeah, there's is there any way to download the bar chart from the scheme overview page?
I would say that's a very good question.
No, that you can't, but you can take a screenshot of it if you wanted to use it. Or the other option would be just to obviously download the reports and then create your own bar chart. So not maybe quite the answer that you were hoping for, but you can take a screenshot of it. Rebecca's asked for us to explain a little bit more about customized references. Jason, would you like to answer that?
So custom references. So this is handy if you're downloading reports and uploading the data into your CRM. So it's something that's available to our Optimum partners, and you can change the fields here. So the fields enable you to add data to the tributes and to events, and also your users as well. So you can go along and add a reference to your donors, for example, if you wanted to. So it just means that the CSV file, that the title of the column the data that it shows makes it easier for when you upload it to your CRM. So that's kind of my custom references in a nutshell response. I don't know, Jane or Sally, if you think there's anything.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just about matching the fields with your existing database. So if you have a
like a region or something like that, if you're a national charity,
or a custom ID, or ID reference that enables you to identify an individual in your database, you might want to replicate that on Muchlove. So when you download your reports, you don't have to do quite as much manipulation before you can upload that data back into your database. So that's what it's all about. But just pop a message on the chat if you need a bit more of an explanation, Rebecca, or feel free to set up a session with your account manager. We can talk you through that.
And also on the charity support side, there's a handy video about customized references as well. So if you just go to the support site and type in customized references, it should pop up for you.
Excellent. There's a question about how you pre-light a candle, and does it have to be done on the individual page? Jane, are you able to show us how to do that? And whilst you're just popping your screen on to explain that to Samantha, that Irene had a question, which was, it keeps disappearing. Irene's question, is there an easy way to find when a funeral collection has changed to a tribute fund so that we can change our income code correctly? So if a funeral collection page has been set up by a funeral director and you want us to change the origination of the page, i.e. change it to being a Sue Ryder page instead of I don't know, a Southern Co-op page, that can only happen if you tell us. So you'll be aware of it happening, because actually we need to know to change the origination of the page. If a page is originally set up as a funeral collection through your widget, for example, the actual funeral information on the front of the tribute won't come away unless the family change it. And at the moment there isn't a notification to tell you that that's happening, but actually that is something that's in our development list. So I'm hoping that very shortly we'll be able to tell you differently, but but just watch the space and we'll let you know once that's available. And the idea is that you should get a notification once that changes. I'll just let Jane answer this question about
pre-lighting a candle.
Candles.
So basically you go to the individual tribute that you wish to light the candle on. So yes, they have to be done per tribute. As an Optimum partner, you just click on your settings, which will take you into the back of the tribute. And then if you scroll down and click on Manage Candles, and then you've got a nice big blue button over here saying Add a Candle. So then you choose whichever kind of candle it is that you wish to light, and you pop in who it's from. And a message if you wish. Now, when do you want the candle to be lit? If you click on the calendar here, you can see that you can go along as far as you want. You can go along in years, so you can just choose whenever you'd like the candle to be lit. So this one we can set to be lit on June the 1st, 2023, and just make sure you remember to click on add a candle at the bottom, and then the candle will automatically be lit on that date for you. So I hope that answers your question.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jane. So Zoe's asked if there's any plans coming in place for the bulk upload of candles. It is something that we've talked about. Actually, I'd be interested to know whether people would find that useful. So if you can, yeah, pop it on the chat. It is something that we talked about, but we haven't got any development plans in place as yet. But that's not to say that it won't happen. So yeah, so just put your thoughts in the chat. Just give me the thumbs up if you think it would be useful, and I can take it to our development team and we can have a chat about it. I think there's also another question about candles. Is it possible to add a reoccurring pre-lit candles for specific dates? So no, that's not available yet. You'd have to go in and add each one manually. When the candle is lit, is the tribute owner advised? So that really depends on their privacy settings, on their contribution settings. So if they have contribution settings to be alerted each time there's new content added to their tribute, then they would be advised. But if not, then they'll just notice it once they look into their tribute. No plans for an option to add reoccurring candles. I think we have to be a little bit careful there. Just because I guess you need to think about what situation where you might want to have a reoccurring candle. But just we're very conscious about making sure that obviously we don't offend anyone or anything is too automated, which is one of the reasons why we've kind of pulled back from bulk upload of candles. So I would be a little bit cautious about having reoccurring candles, because that person that you're putting that reoccurring candle on that tribute page, their situation might have changed and it might not be appropriate in 6 months' time to put something else on. So there just needs to be quite a lot of thought around that, I think. Any other questions?
So Rebecca's asked about customizing the thank you message. So we've got a templated donor receipt. So if you're an Optima partner, you can provide us with a copy to include in that receipt. So if you haven't done that and you're an Optima partner, then let your account manager know and they can add your thank you message to the templated receipt. I think that's what you were asking, Rebecca. It looks like, yeah, brilliant. So it looks like that's it from a question point of view. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully you've been able to click on the 2 links that I put in the chat to register for our e-learning and our next webinar. So we look forward to seeing you there. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Jane and Jason, for this morning's session, and we'll hopefully all see you in a month's time at the next one.